Well, a fixture that gave us perhaps the greatest ever grand final 12 years ago, the days of Broich, Berisha, Bojic and Bozanic, and of course Anjanani. Tonight it's Mooney and Monty as the pair continue to try to recapture former glories in Redcliffe. Brisbane are a long way off those lofty peaks of yore. Just making the finals is by no means guaranteed, and they come into this one on the back of a 5-game run in which they picked up a solitary point and scored just twice. The Mariners too have stumbled of late. They have just 1 point from a possible 9 and have been drawn back towards the pack chasing Melbourne City at the top. Brisbane have replenished their squad with a very busy January transfer window. 7 players have gone and 6 have come in to replace them. The Mariners have tinkered around the edges. Who can put it all together tonight? Now let's have a look at the team news for tonight. A couple of changes from the Brisbane 11 defeated in Adelaide last week. Connor Chapman, of course, has departed for Melbourne Victory, so it looks like a back 4, which allows Taras Gomulka to make his starting debut for the club in midfield. Further forward, Nikola Milojevic returns after building fitness off the bench last week against the Reds. Goalscorer Joe Knowles is relegated to be among the substitutes. A bench that also includes new signings Noah Smith, Marcel Canardi and Stefan Shepovic. Robbie Cruz not involved tonight, but he's not far away. There's Carlo Armiento, 1 assist last week against the Reds, and of course 1 goal ruled out by VAR. He is Raw's top scorer with 3 this season, although he's not scored in any of his last 6 matches. A couple of changes for the Mariners as well. Brian Kaltak serves a 2nd suspension of the season, so Dan Hall is in to partner Nectarios Triantis in the heart of defence, and James McGarry makes his debut at left back after his switch from Newcastle, Thomas Aquilina having gone the other way. Jacob Farrell is back on the bench after injury, as is Olayinka Sonmola, a 20-year-old midfielder who's only just made his debut for the Mariners MPL team. No place in the squad for Dylan Wenzel-Halls, freshly arrived from Western United. Nick Montgomery has also been hard at work in the market, swapping Thomas Aquilina for James McGarry, bringing in Dylan Wenzel-Halls and, of course, Christian Fiaharas. So the Mariners get us underway in their change strip tonight, the 57th meeting between the pair. Raw have won 33 of those, with the Mariners successful on only 9 occasions. In percentage terms, that's their worst return against any A-League club. Early sighter here for Henry Hoare, but Daniel McBreen, they have won the last 2 meetings, and I guess you'd say the Mariners probably start the favourites tonight. Slightly.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree, Simon. Good evening, everybody. I think despite having no wins in their last 3, the Mariners have been very confident going forward and sit high on the ladder. And as for Brisbane, only 1 win in 8. So they really need all those signings that you mentioned to really have an impact.
As mentioned, Warren Moon has had a very busy January, signing Marcel Canardi, Robbie Cruz, Stefan Shepovic, Taras Gomulka and Noah Smith, as well as upgrading the youth team contracts of James Nikolovsky and Ion Majok. And the deflection will give Brisbane another corner.
Well, after last week with Brisbane in their corners, I think we expected, with all the bodies on the line, another in-swinging ball just underneath the crossbar. Changed it up this time, short. Armiento and O'Shea heading out to the corner again.
Aldred and Dan Hall jockeying for position. Armiento's having a good long think about it. There's a fair bit going on in there. Now it's whipped in towards that near post with real pace, and Vukovic had to be lively.
We spoke about last week's whipping corners, but here they just change the angle a little bit, gives him a little bit more space to try and bend towards that front post, and Nikola Milojevic wasn't too far away there. Don't leave too much space in behind. Here's a dangerous threat.
Jay O'Shea has overdone that. Here's Josh Nisbet and Silvera. And it took a touch. An important one too off Tom Aldred, because I fancy that might have been goal bound. Jordan Holmes certainly thought so. And it was all really because Jay O'Shea, unlike him, really casual in possession.
Well, I think it was Tom Aldred with the block. The deflection there. I don't know how Jordan Holmes would have got a hand to it or not.
So Mariners corner. Towards that near post area. It's in the back of the net. Marco Tullio got the final touch. A scramble from the corner. And the Raw couldn't clear it. And Tullio lashed it into the roof of the net. Mariners 1-0.
Well, as Marco Tullio and his teammates celebrate, Jordan Holmes looks on despairingly. It wasn't the prettiest of goals. The Harvey Norman replay shows the Mariners giving Brisbane Roar a little bit of taste of their own medicine. Corner into the 6-yard area. His body's everywhere. Falls down to Storm Rue, who has a real hack at it. Falls to Marco Tullio, who's 3 or 4 yards out. Taps it into the roof of the net. 1-0 Central Coast Mariners.
And the early advantage belongs to Nick Montgomery's team. And it all came about, really, due to that uncharacteristic, sloppy piece of possession from Jay O'Shea, which led to Silvera's shot, which in turn led to the corner and the goal.
You know, I don't want to harp on about it, but I really want to see Jay O'Shea getting the ball higher up the pitch. But I am going to harp on about it, yes. He's not a player that we usually see give the ball away.
Yeah.
You know, but would definitely love to see him higher up the pitch.
I dare say at this precise moment he agrees with you. He's taking the free kick. Oh, there's a little bit of contact there on the edge of the box. And flag has got up, Delayed whistle from Jonathan Pereira. I think he got a signal from his linesman. And that challenge from Marco Tullio, who's just opened the scoring for the Central Coast Mariners on Armiento, gives Brisbane Roar a penalty. Extraordinary.
Well, I must admit, on first look, I thought there was contact, but there didn't seem to be a call coming. You see here, as he goes across.
Is there enough in that for you?
Gee, I don't know. Okay. I think he goes down I think he's waiting for the touch and goes down.
Nick Montgomery thinks it's hilarious.
Well, just trying to look to see.
Well, he does sort of barge into him. Is there enough there to overturn it? That's the next question. Yep, Alex King, who's in VAR, has upheld the decision despite all those protests. It's probably a bit of a soft one, but again, the letter of the law, VAR can only intervene really if they think there's been a clear and obvious error. So, how about this? Jay O'Shea makes an error at one end of the field, which leads to Marco Tullio opening the scoring. And about a minute later, Marco Tullio makes a challenge, which leads to a penalty, and Jay O'Shea can square the ledger. Funny old game, football. Of course, he's got to score it yet. No problems for the Irishman. All tied up at 1-1. Jay O'Shea's third of the season. But the Mariners will complain, no doubt, long and hard after the game about the award of that spot kick.
Well, Harvey Norman replay shows Jay O'Shea, cool as you like, steps up and puts it away. Danny Vukovic the right way, but no chance. But as you say, Simon, Nick Montgomery and his staff, I'm sure, will be lamenting the decision. But he cares not. Puts it away, 1-1.
And he'll be feeling a whole lot better about himself than he was about 2 or 3 minutes ago. Driving for the byline. Held up by Hall. Top of the box is O'Shea. Neville. Good football this by Brisbane. Henry Hall. Turned back by Hingards. They delayed too long. O'Shea, it's very crowded in there, manages to thread it through. It's fired well over the top by Carlo Armiento. They got a shot away at the end of that passing sequence.
Well, they did. It was a shot from an extremely tight angle from Armiento, but have a look there. You've got 4 Brisbane players in that wide area and only 2, one coming late in Gamulka, in the box. And that has been an ongoing problem for Brisbane throughout the season.
Through for Tulio. Cummings out wide. And Rue's run forward was blocked off by Jordan Courtney-Perkins, but play allowed to continue. Nkalolo. Found the angle for the cross, and it's found Tulio, and Cummings! Off the base of the post, still alive for Sammy Silvera. And Aldred's got his noggin on it and deflected it behind. Jason Cummings so close to restoring the Mariners' advantage.
Well, Nkalolo with the cross, but that touch there, the layoff from Tulio, really created the chance. Jason Cummings in such fine form. Expect to see that tucking into the bottom corner, but it's a beautiful layoff. Hits the base of the post, and as Sammy Silvera comes on with the rebound, it's Tom Aldred who saves the day with the clearing header.
Spins up in the air towards Nkalolo. Time for the Mariners perhaps to create one more opportunity. Or are they content to go in at the break all square? And that is half-time in Redcliffe. An enterprising first half in many ways. It ends all square. Jay O'Shea was at fault for turning the ball over, which ultimately led to Marco Tulio opening the scoring, and then Tulio, conversely, fouling Armiento at the other end, and O'Shea squaring the ledger from the penalty spot, and that all gives us a half-time scoreline that reads Brisbane Roar 1, Central Coast Mariners 1. Second half about to get underway. All square between Brisbane Roar and the Central Coast Mariners. Been a good first half. As for the Mariners, well, we know what they bring in the second half of matches this season. 20 goals they've scored after the restart. That's more than any other team in the competition. Jason Cummings, of course, already in double figures for this campaign. Needs one more to better his tally of 10 from last season. And off we go. Important game this for both. The Mariners looking to get back to winning ways and go back into second spot on the ladder. Brisbane trying to stay in touch with the top 6. If the Roar can win today, they'll be just a point behind Sydney, who are located in that 6th spot at the moment. Still alive for Neville here. Breaks for Nisbet though. Ballard. Right idea. Too much on it for Tulio.
Well, that could have been a good opportunity for the Mariners. Ballard could have got the range right there. Tulio found himself in acres of space.
Oh dear. Max Ballard's absolutely clattering into the back of Truin. And we've got the game's first yellow card. I don't think you can have too many complaints. Actually, Gamulka, who felt the full weight of that, yeah. Goodness me.
Yeah, he's come late. He's, I think, firstly mistimed it, and then what in the air, there's not much he can do, but he's come right through the back of Gamulka's head.
O'Shea did well, the Irishman. Awkward ball for Triantis to deal with. Armiento went for the spectacular and didn't make any meaningful contact. And Silvera will carry it forward for the Mariners.
That's good covering from Jack Hingett. Jay O'Shea did very well down the other end. You could hear him shout to Kayo, just set me. He wanted to soft layback for the first time cross. Didn't come, it was a little too hard. Did well to get round the defender and get a ball in the box.
It's a really intelligent throw from McGarry to find Tulio, who was stood all alone. Squares it up here for Cummings. Can he find the angle? He had a man on the right. Here's Rue. Maybe should have scored, Storm Rue.
Well, I think he was wanting the ball earlier. He was driving forward as Jason Cummings was looking to open up some space. Brisbane doing what Brisbane do and block, but fell for Storm Rue anyway. You see there under pressure. Plenty of attacking options waiting to get involved. We need a little bit of a spark. It's been a real arm wrestle. A little scrappy in this second half.
Well, Christian Theoharis has been quite influential off the bench in his cameo so far for the Mariners since arriving from Western United. Might see him. Might be a chance here though for Jason Cummings. And again, Tom Aldred just throwing his body in the path of the ball. It's really good desperation shown by Brisbane. It's something they've done all season.
It was nice play from the Mariners. Little 1-2. Cummings with Silvera. And there he is again. We spoke about him.
Trying to get his arms out of the way as well. Neither defence easy to unpick. Touchback from Cummings is a fraction short. There's no foul by Ballard. Brisbane thought there should have been. Silvera invites Rue forwards. And here's Sammy Silvera again. Kai Trewin with the foot in to get it away. They'll reset through Nisbet. Silvera and Rue. And still Rue. And will it drop for a Mariner? Brisbane sat very deep here. Silvera finds the cross and Aldred out jumps Cummings. It's going to be a Mariners corner, but they're under some heavy pressure there, Brisbane.
Well, they're sitting deeper and deeper, aren't they? Allowing this Mariners team to move the ball around, wait for their opportunity. They have some quality attacking players that can beat a defender. A little 1-2, a little bit of trickery. It's just that final pass at the moment that Brisbane are hanging on.
And Kalolo, top of the box is Ballard. He's got time to set himself and fires it just wide via a deflection. He has never scored in the A-League men's competition, Max Ballard. He wasn't far off there.
A little bit of trickery from the Mariners. See there, bodies everywhere in front of Jordan Holmes. If that was creeping in, he had no chance. He was just baying for it to go wide.
Tulio, delightful. Clipped in by Nkololo. Brisbane desperate to get it clear. Was there a foul there? Referee says yes, I think. Yes. Penalty. Scott Neville going through the back of his opponents, and we have a second penalty kick at the same end of the ground, but this time for the Mariners.
Well, I have to say, Simon, on first viewing, Tulio got across, you see there. I think it's quite similar to Brisbane's penalty, to be fair. Gets his body across, there is contact, but does he play? Well, Scotty Neville really just gets him in the calf.
Well, Warren Moon's saying there's no contact. Not Jason Cummings this time. It's going to be Benny Nkololo charged with the responsibility. Scored in the victory for the Mariners against Brisbane last season. Can he put them in front here? Creeps up to the ball and sends Jordan Holmes the wrong way. And the Mariners are in front for the second time in the game.
Well, it's not very often you see your top goal scorer, who took the penalty last time out, handed off, but Harvey Norman replay shows Benny Nkololo a little jig in the walk, little hop step, waits for the movement from the keeper, puts it in the bottom corner. And I dare say, after the match, we'll hear from both coaches.
Mariners are going to introduce Christian Theoharis presently. Meantime, they've got some defending to do. Jab forward towards Akbari. Good ball that was. Akbari squares it up. Can they find the angle? Henry Hoare, good save. Vukovic down smartly.
Neat build-up play from Brisbane Roar. It was 1-2 touch football as the ball was laid back to Henry Hoare. And Vukovic was down to his right.
And Brisbane are quickly on with it. Hoare. Aldridge joined in with the attack. Here he is, challenging for the ball. Not quite able to work it out wide for Akbari, who is adjudged to have tripped Farrell on the way through, and he wants to continue that discussion. Yellow card, sorry, it's Neville.
Well, I think Farrell gave it away there. When the whistle went, a little wry smile. He knew he slipped. See here, he slipped and tripped over his own feet, didn't he? The whistle went.
Yeah, there's no foul.
There's no foul at all.
Anywhere will do for Dan Hall. It'll be a big win this for the Central Coast after 3 games without one. Take them back second on the ladder as well. Above the Wanderers, who are in action in that big derby tomorrow against Sydney. Still time to be played here. Hoare! And Vukovic with a really important stop. Down low to his right to deny Henry Hoare again.
Well, that's the second time Danny Vukovic has been called into action from Henry Hoare. Similar position. This time cuts back on the left. Aims for that near post. Down strong.
Knowles, it's seen out by Farrell. And that is that in Redcliffe. High fives all round on the Mariners bench as they return to winning ways after a 3-game winless streak. And Nick Montgomery's team defeating Brisbane for the 3rd consecutive meeting. The first time that's happened in the history of this fixture. They are back into 2nd spot. And Brisbane's winless run is extended to 6 games. That 3-1 win over Sydney here stands alone as their solitary home victory this season. Brisbane Roar 1, Central Coast Mariners 2. A hard-fought victory for Nick Montgomery's team.